Howdy, and welcome back to another episode in Adventures in iPhone Photography over at Hasidia.com. Today we're looking at Camera Plus's new release, Camera Plus for the iPad. I know it's not specifically iPhone related, but many people that have iPhones also process their photos on the iPad. And it's quite a bit, I wouldn't say quite a bit, but it is different than the iPhone app. So I thought we'd go through that real quick because it's pretty cool. Before we do that, a quick housekeeping thing. A couple people asked that don't have iPads where they can get my book, and my book is now available as an ebook from Flatbooks. So if you want to pick it up, if you haven't picked it up, you can go to the link below, hasidia.com/flatbooks, and it'll take you right to it. And you can get it for all your other devices. All right, well, that being said, let's get into today's adventure. So, we have Camera Plus for the iPad right here. We'll fire it up. Just looks like the traditional Camera Plus icon. And before we get started, it's just like Camera Plus, we're going to need to add a photo to our light box. So to do that, just touch Add Photos, grab it from your photo library, and grab it from, I'm going to, at this instance, grab it out of my photo stream, and we will find it, and we're going to work on this color image of the caddy. So go ahead and import it, and once it's there, go ahead and touch edit. But one thing you'll notice over here on the right, you're going to see what it was shot with, what the ISO, your aperture, and shutter speed all over there on the right. Kind of cool information, and that will grow as we carry on here. So we're going to go ahead and touch edit, and we're in the somewhat familiar Camera Plus editing screen here. There's the traditional scenes you can use, adjustments, crops, effects, and borders. So if we're in here, you know, clarity, Camera Plus is known for. Great filter, worth the price of admission alone. So we'll go ahead and start with familiar territory and apply the clarity filter. So then, as we go in, you'll notice on the right, under Scene, it shows what was applied. That's a pretty cool feature if you're going to go back through some of your photos and see how you did certain things. So we can go into the adjustments. Straighten, which is a neat utility. We won't use it in this instance, but you can move it around to align your images appropriately. Can adjust our white balances. Can adjust our tone, which is kind of a standard developing process. So in this case, I want to brighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the exposure. So if we increase the exposure way up, it's going to get really bright, and if we go way down, it's going to get a lot darker. So I'm not real interested in what's going on up above the hood of the car, so I'm going to brighten it up a lot just to get a very prominent Cadillac symbol going on there. So within here, you see as we add things again to this adjustment module, you'll see stuff happening on the right. So we've got the tone adjustment. Now, if I go to detail, let's say, you see the tone adjustment and its properties remain in that develop, or I guess we'd call it the develop window. I'm not sure what Camera Plus calls it. So in this case, I can actually increase or decrease the sharpness or the focus of the image. So if I sharpen it way up, you're going to see a lot of detail come out in it, maybe too much, but I can give it a little bit of sharpening to kind of bring out some character within the symbol in the hood of this great old car. If we want to add a little vignette, we can do that as well. You know, increase the vignette, which is the darkening of the edges, or decrease it. Maybe in this case we want to just give it a little bit of vignette. There we go. To again draw the viewer's eye in. Very cool stuff here. So then we can go to the crop area and apply the golden ratio, a square crop, all the various standard aspect ratios. I'm not going to do that in this case. Then we can move on to the effects. Now this is where things get really cool and definitely different from how they were in Camera Plus. I do like, let's just show you some things here real quick. Let's say I wanted to do maybe something from, I do like this fashion one, which will eventually apply. Yeah, let's go ahead and apply it just for the sake of applying it. Very, very cool effect. But what you can do is now they offer brushes. In Camera Plus on the iPhone, you could just kind of decrease or increase the intensity. But now, within the effects module, you can grab a brush and control its size, softness, the intensity of it, and either erase the effect or add in the effect. So if I want to erase the effect, I tap the eraser there, and as you can see, I'm erasing that effect. If I want to bring it back, I can just tap the brush and brush the effect back in. Super cool stuff there. Definitely couldn't do that in Camera Plus of days past. Now, if I wanted to add an additional effect, I could simply touch Add Effect and then choose the effect you'd like to add. Let's see, we're going to go back to the color ones here. If I want to go from this, right? And then if I wanted to brush out the effect certain areas, I could, or brush it back in. Right? Cool beans. But if I don't like that effect, which I don't, I can touch undo, 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 until it's gone. So if I want to go ahead and add another effect, I could do, let's see here, black and white if I wanted to go with a standard black and white conversion, which I don't. Kind of digging this muted color of the fashion conversion. So there we have it. That is Camera Plus on the iPad. We can go and add a border or a frame to our image. Maybe a thick white frame. I don't know, you know me, I'm kind of into the thin white frames. There we go. Go ahead and hit done, and our image is back in our Lightbox. Now, remember I was talking about it when we first imported it into Camera Plus. You could see on the right there was information about the ISO you shot it at, the aperture, the shutter speed. Now, if you look, we could see what effects we applied while processing it. So if we go back into the Edit module, we can see the thin white frame there on the right. If we go to the scenes, we can see that I used the clarity filter. What adjustments were done? I added a vignette, increased its detail using a little bit of sharpening, and then increased its exposure to brighten it up. And then you can go in and see if there were any crops applied or the effects. So I used a fashion effect at full intensity. So I go ahead and hit done. And just like Camera Plus, if you want to save this photo or share this photo, you have to get it out of your Lightbox, or you can share directly from your Lightbox. So you could click or touch share. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and hit save and save to my camera roll. And it's going to be saved. There we go. And out of my Lightbox. One other cool thing here about Camera Plus for the iPad is if you go into menu, this new option here, iCloud Lightbox sync off or on. So now Camera Plus is going to use the capabilities of PhotoStream and iCloud, so you can synchronize Lightbox images across the cloud. Very, very cool. So you could capture all you want with your iPhone, sync, have them here in your Lightbox, and edit them with all those new features. Neat stuff. So I suggest you go get it. I think it's at an introductory price right now, but definitely worth it if you have an iPad. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Adventures in iPhone Photography, and we will see you out there on the creative frontier.